Have supply chains always been global, or we are just probably exaggerating that?
I believe it happens in cycles. So, like, you will have a mood of globalization, and then there will be a course correction wherein probably protectionism is going to set in.
Highlight that how does globalization has made this complicated, probably post 2000 or even before that,
Hmm.
or have supply chains always been global, or we are just probably exaggerating that we have always been global in terms of demand and supply of goods?
No, what has happened so far is like any business when it evolves. So, we would try and procure goods locally
Right.
because we are most comfortable in speaking with people or in interacting with people who look very similar to us. And I'm sorry if this sounds a bit racial, but we are more, that is how businesses are. So that is how humans also are, because we are most comfortable in our own surroundings. And so when a business starts off, we start to look around ourselves, and then if there are technological pieces that are available, if technology has progressed to a level where it is easy for me to communicate with multiple people, that is when I can look out for options. Otherwise, I am constrained geographically because of technology. So, back in the 1900s, so when we talk of supply chain and logistics organizations, we have to understand they came because of the military organizations. Militaries, whenever they would go for war, they would have their own supply chains. They would have their supplies for the soldiers who would be fighting the battle. So, a lot of the supply chain and logistics data and studies have been done by the military organizations across the world. So, coming back to my earlier point, so we would source locally. But then, with the advent of technology, when it became easier for me to actually talk to people all over the world, that is when my consideration set actually expanded multifold, because now I could talk to the supplier who would provide these assets or these materials at the lowest possible price.
Right.
And I would not have to limit myself geographically. I would not have to limit myself only to players in India. Now I could talk to people in Taiwan, I could talk to people in Singapore, in the US, and get to the mainland in China as well, and get the best price for my product that I wanted. And so ultimately that is how it happened. So there was a very it was a quote, I believe, from Thomas Friedman, probably in The World is Flat, and I might have to go back and check on this, but he said that no two countries which have a McDonald's can ever fight.
Hmm.
So that is how people were then looking at globalization, like back in the 90s. And then in 2000s, people suddenly said that, okay, because the countries are getting so interconnected with each other and the supply chains are also getting so interconnected, so the cost of going to war or any such adverse event is going to be very high. And so that is the reason why you would not see countries invade each other that frequently. But now we've seen that is also the case with what happened in US and Venezuela recently. But yeah, that was the prevalent thought back then in the 2000s, that yeah, this would not be the case. But now, yeah, Mr. Friedman has been proved wrong.
I do remember reading that book around 2007, I
Yeah.
believe, around that time, 2006, 7. And he mentions the story of Nandan Nilekani in that book. I think there is a mention of that, his conversations with him when he visited India for that book. And interesting point you mentioned around military, right? So much of management theories, organizational behavior, so much of it is borrowed from military sciences,
Yep.
right? The other side of the coin, which we have seen during COVID, is that people, countries looking out for themselves.
Yeah, I believe it happens in cycles. So, like, you will have a mood of globalization, and then there will be a course correction wherein probably protectionism is going to set in. And so, you see a lot of countries right now, they are trying to close borders, and they are trying to, so immigration is just one part of the debate, but there are other things as well wherein people are trying to secure resources. So the next set of, so we've been hearing of this quite a lot, that yeah, the next set of wars that might happen would be around resources, be it natural resources or others. So I believe, yeah, with COVID, that actually was brought very clearly to us because all borders were closed. Even human movement was curtailed to a
Mm.
significant extent because that was how transmission of the disease was happening. So all of these issues, they have an impact on supply chain and on operations, and so leaders have to be constantly on their feet figuring out, okay, what is happening. That is why you'll see most of the companies, most of the large conglomerates, they actually have divisions which scan geopolitics every day, and they prepare a report that, okay, what is going to happen to the network. Is there going to be an adverse fallout of,
Mm.
let's say, a Russia Ukraine war? How are the commodities going to vary? So what are the commodities that come out of Russia? What are the commodities that come out of Ukraine? Are they going to be destabilized? So because that is going to have an impact on the commodity prices in the global markets, and then subsequently, because of that, the price of the commodity that is going to land at my table, that is also going to change. So it's a very fascinating industry to be in, a fascinating space to be in, because everything and anything that happens around the world, it might just have an impact on you and your supply chain.